The man you are right now is a ghost. He is a pale, flickering echo of the man you are destined to become. You feel him in the quiet moments, in the sting of a promise broken to yourself, in the hollow after another day surrendered to distraction, in the simmering resentment as you watch others claim the life you tell yourself you want. This feeling is not despair. It is a signal. It is the death rattle of your weak self. He is begging to be put down so the real you can finally breathe. Most people will never understand this. They think discipline is a checklist, a morning routine posted online, a 30-day challenge, a temporary flare of effort before they settle back into the warm, comfortable sludge of mediocrity. They are wrong, dead wrong. True discipline is not a habit. It is an execution. It is the daily, silent murder of the person you were yesterday. It is an act of calculated violence against every fiber of your being that chooses comfort over conquest, emotion over execution, approval over authority. It is the single most transformative power a man can wield over his own destiny. It is what separates the sheep, huddled and bleeding for warmth and validation, from the wolf, who endures the solitary cold for the purity of his own freedom. This path is not for the faint of heart. It is not for those who seek applause. It is for the strategist, the sovereign, the man who looks at the chaos of the world and the chaos within his own mind and decides, coldly, to impose order, to become a force of nature so relentless, so consistent, that his very presence unsettles those still trapped in the cage of their feelings. This philosophy is not new. It was carved in the cold, clear light of exile by a man who watched empires rise and fall on the strength or weakness of a ruler's will. Niccolò Machiavelli did not write for saints. He wrote for survivors, for victors. He understood a fundamental truth that the soft modern world has tried to bury. In a realm of chaos, whether a principality or your own life, to be loved is a fleeting advantage. To be respected is useful, but to be feared, through the unshakable, intimidating power of your own discipline, is to be free. You are here because you are soul-tired. You are exhausted not from labor, but from the constant civil war inside your skull. The war between what you know you must do and what you feel like doing. You are sick of your own voice making promises it has no intention of keeping. You watch others ascend, not because they are smarter, but because they have, consciously or not, embraced a ruthlessness toward themselves that you have yet to muster. You want to break the loop. You want to build a mind that is bulletproof, a will that is unbreakable, a presence that commands a room not with words, but with silent, undeniable potency. I will show you how. But understand this clearly. This is not self-help. This is self-destruction. We are going to systematically dismantle the weak, dependent, emotional, approval-seeking ghost you currently are. We are going to burn him to ash so that the ruler, the sovereign, the Machiavellian strategist of your own life, can rise from the embers. This process will be cold. It will be lonely. It will require sacrifices that will make you question everything you think you know about yourself. The secret you are searching for isn't found in adding another productivity app, another motivational quote, another life hack to your existence. The secret is in what you are willing to kill. Most men are slaves. They are puppets, their strings pulled by algorithms, by the opinions of strangers, by the sugary hit of cheap dopamine, by the tyranny of their own fleeting emotions. The moment you truly begin this path, you cut those strings. You stop being a slave. You become a sovereign. But sovereignty has a price. Your comfort, your friendships, your need to be understood. These are the currency. Are you willing to pay it? Phase 1. The discipline of silence, becoming a ghost. Machiavelli famously wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are." This is not merely an observation on deception. It is the cornerstone of building real power. The average man is a leaky vessel. He broadcasts his intentions before he has taken a single step. He posts his day one before he has broken a sweat. He talks endlessly about his business plan, his fitness goals, his new era. He seeks validation for potential, for effort he hasn't yet exerted. This is why he fails. He releases the psychological pressure before the engine is even built. He gets the dopamine hit of social approval for the idea of the work, which robs him of the drive needed to complete the actual work. You must become the antithesis of this. You must become a ghost. True discipline is forged in silence. It is nurtured in the dark. When you constantly verbalize your goals, you are subtly begging the world for approval. You are asking, is it okay if I become this? Will you still like me if I succeed? This is the language of a child, not a king. Stop asking for permission. The most dangerous man in any room is the one who listens, who watches, who says nothing. He is gathering intelligence while others are wasting their energy on noise. When you go silent, you create a vacuum. This silence is unnerving. People, accustomed to your explanations, your complaints, your seeking, are suddenly disoriented. They will project their own insecurities onto your quiet. They will wonder what you are plotting. They will grow suspicious because you no longer need their attention, their applause, their pity. This silence is not just the absence of sound. It is your armor. It shrouds your intent, protects your nascent strength from the corrosive doubt of others. Imagine the power of disappearing for 6 months. No announcements. No going dark posts. No explanations to those who do not matter. Just the silent, daily communion with your craft. The gym in the empty hours. The business plan refined in the lonely study. The book read, the skill mastered, the mind sharpened, all away from the spotlight. You surgically remove the noise, the endless scroll, the hollow social gatherings, the conversations that drain your energy and focus. In this silence, you are free to fail. You can make mistakes no one sees. You can correct course without an audience. You can build resilience without the commentary of the mediocre. You build in the dark so that when you finally step into the light, you are not announcing a transformation. You are presenting a fait accompli, a done deal. You reemerge, but you are not the same. You are heavier, sharper. Your presence carries a different density. You don't have to tell people you've changed. They feel it in your handshake. They see it in your posture, in the calm steadiness of your gaze. They hear it in the spaces between your words. This is the discipline of the ghost. It terrifies people because it is a living mirror held up to their own lack of focus. It reminds them that while they were busy curating an image of effort, you were in the trenches, building real power. Start today. Stop explaining yourself. Explanation is the language of the victim, the supplicant. The powerful do not justify their movements. They execute them. If you are tired, shut up and work. If you are hurt, shut up and heal. If you are winning, shut up and keep winning. Let your results speak. Their voice will be a thunderclap compared to the whispers of your former excuses. This is your first test. Can you embrace the void? Can you build in silence? If you are ready to become a ghost, to let your old, talkative self die, declare it now. Comment, I build in silence below. Let that be your first silent, digital oath. Phase 2, Emotional Alchemy, the machinery of the will. A great lie is perpetrated about disciplined men, that they are emotionless robots. This is cowardice masquerading as observation. The disciplined man feels everything, and often more acutely. He feels the seductive pull of the warm bed at 4 a.m. He feels the crushing weight of failure. He feels the volcanic urge to scream, to quit, to indulge, to surrender to the sweet numbness of distraction. The difference is not in feeling, but in governance. He does not care. He has severed the link between feeling and action. Machiavelli understood that men are principally driven by love or fear. You must apply this ruthless calculus to your own psyche. You cannot build an empire on the fickle foundation of loving the grind. You will not love the grind. You will despise it on most days. Passion is a candle flame, bright, beautiful, and extinguished by the slightest breeze of adversity. You cannot rely on it. You need something colder, harder, more reliable, duty, principle, the unwavering commitment to a standard. Discipline, therefore, is the art of emotional alchemy. It is the process of taking the base, leaden weight of I don't want to and transmuting it, through sheer will, into the gold of I did it anyway. When you stop consulting your feelings as if they were a board of directors before every action, you become dangerously unpredictable to the outside world, and finally, predictable to yourself in your excellence. Think like a strategist. If your enemy, be it a competitor, circumstance, or your own lower nature, knows you only act when motivated, only fight when you feel strong, only work when inspired, then defeating you is simple. They only need to wait. They wait for the inevitable moment of sadness, fatigue, doubt, or heartbreak. In that moment, you are defenseless. But what if you are the man who trains harder when he is heartbroken? Who works more meticulously when he is furious? Who reads another chapter when his brain is screaming for entertainment? You become a glitch in the matrix. You become immune to the weather of your emotions. You acknowledge the storm. It is raining pain too. Today, it is hailing disappointment. But you do not cancel the march. You put on your armor, you lower your head, and you advance. This is the Machiavellian governance of the self. You are the prince. Your emotions are the unruly populace, the fickle nobles, the potential traitors within your own walls. You listen to their petitions. You acknowledge their presence. But you never, ever let them sit on the throne. If they riot, you crush them without hesitation or remorse. The practical weapon for this is the seconds rule. In the moment of decision, the alarm ringing, the set of reps remaining, the difficult email to send, you have a 3-second window of sovereignty. 1, 2, 3. Move. If you allow a 4th second, your brain, that exquisite machine built for comfort and conservation, will begin the negotiation. It will offer brilliant, logical, compassionate reasons for surrender. You must bypass the committee. Do not think. Thinking in the moment of action is the enemy. The body must obey the command before the mind can mount a rebellion. Over time, this repeated act of violence against hesitation rewires your very neurology. You cease to be a man who tries to be disciplined. You become a mechanism that functions. Your internal state, sad, happy, tired, energized, becomes irrelevant to your external output. This is the foundation of true freedom. When you are no longer a puppet of your feelings, you are untouchable. This is how you become the man who, when others expect him to break, simply gets colder, quieter, and more focused. That terrifies them. It should. Phase 3. The weaponization of isolation, the laboratory of the sovereign. Machiavelli knew that power often demands solitude. A wise prince ought to rely on what is in his power and not on what is in the power of others, he advised. Look at your inner circle. The 5 people you spend the most time with. Are they architects, building alongside you? Or are they anchors, comfortable in the harbor, subtly questioning why you want to sail into a storm? Most people have a pathological fear of being alone with themselves. They fill every interstitial moment with noise, podcasts, music, social media, messaging. They cannot sit in a silent room because in that silence, their own thoughts become audible, and their thoughts tell them the inconvenient truth. You are wasting your life. You are capable of more. You are a coward. To achieve a level of discipline that intimidates, you must not only tolerate isolation, you must weaponize it. You must be willing to walk away, cleanly and coldly, from relationships, environments, and habits that do not serve the mission. This is not meanness. It is strategic necessity. It is the ruthlessness of a surgeon amputating a gangrenous limb to save the body. When you begin to rise, the gravity of the average will try to pull you back. It is not out of malice, but physics. Your growth becomes a silent indictment of their stagnation. You become a living mirror. When you get lean, your overweight friend feels judged. When you build wealth, your broke friend feels attacked. When you cultivate peace, your dramatic friend feels irrelevant. Their response will be Pavlovian. You've changed. You're no fun anymore. You think you're better than us. Good. Let them say it. Fun is the consolation prize of the mediocre. You are not here for fun. You are here for mastery. You must become comfortable, even proud, of being the villain in their comfortable narrative. Let them call you cold. Let them call you arrogant. Let them whisper about you. You do not think you are better. You simply have different standards, and you refuse to lower them to the lowest common denominator to make others feel comfortable. Isolation is the crucible of greatness. In solitude, you are stripped of the reflected identity you get from others. You are forced to confront who you actually are. Your own voice, long drowned out by the committee of the world, becomes clear. Your vision sharpens. Your resolve hardens. You must schedule periods of total withdrawal, monk mode, deep work phases, whatever you label it. Lock the door. Turn off the phone. Face the blank page, the heavy weight, the complex problem. In that silent space, you will meet your demons: boredom, anxiety, imposter syndrome, the screaming urge to flee. And you will sit with them. You will stare them down. You will not break. The confidence forged in winning these private, unseen battles is unshakable. It cannot be faked or bought. When you walk back into the world carrying that quiet victory, people sense it. They sense a man who does not need them. And this, ironically, is what makes you magnetic. The man who is complete alone is the only one who can engage with others without seeking to take something from them: validation, approval, identity. He is full. He chooses to interact, not from need, but from strength. This is the ultimate power in any relationship. If you are ready to walk this lonely but empowering path, to become a sovereign in your own life, smash the like button now. Let that click be a signal of your commitment. Subscribe to the channel. This is just the surface of the depths we will plunge together. Phase 4. The power of unpredictable consistency, becoming the glacier. Machiavelli's most infamous dictum: "It is much safer to be feared than loved, for love is preserved by the link of obligation which, owing to the baseness of men, is broken at every opportunity for their advantage. But fear preserves you by a dread of punishment which never fails." Apply this to your personal discipline. When you are undisciplined, you are profoundly predictable. People know you will quit the diet by February. They know you will fold under pressure. They know you will react with anger to an insult, with panic to a crisis, with despair to a loss. You are a puppet, and your strings, your triggers, are visible to anyone who cares to look. You are easily manipulated because your behavior is a slave to circumstance and emotion. When you become disciplined, you become a glitch in their system. You become unpredictable in your responses, yet terrifyingly predictable in your standards. Someone insults you? You don't flare up. You might offer a slow, measured blink, a slight tilt of the head as if analyzing a curious insect, and then return to your work. A crisis erupts? You don't panic. Your pulse slows. You begin to analyze, to strategize. You suffer a loss. You don't weep or complain. You audit. You learn. You rebuild from the foundation. This lack of expected, volatile reaction is what terrifies manipulators, competitors, and the chaos of the world itself. They rely on your emotional predictability to control you. When you remove the buttons they used to push, they are left pressing blank walls. Your consistency becomes your weapon, not the consistency of a meek routine, but the consistency of an immutable force. Imagine a man who shows up every single day. No fanfare, no complaints, no visible need for encouragement. He executes his plan with the quiet inevitability of the sunrise. You cannot stop him because he does not draw his energy from your approval. You cannot discourage him because he does not tie his worth to temporary outcomes. You cannot distract him because his focus is a fortress. That man is scary because he is inevitable. He is a law of nature. You want to be that man. This requires the deliberate murder of the part of you that craves sympathy. Stop telling people your problems. Stop posting about your bad days. Stop seeking a pat on the back for enduring hardships that you chose to undertake. When you seek sympathy, you are showing your belly. You are revealing a pressure point, a vulnerability. Machiavelli would advise you to hide your wounds, not out of shame, but out of strategy. You do not give your enemies, or the neutral, often predatory world, the satisfaction of knowing they drew blood, nor the blueprint on how to do it again. Stand up straight. Fix your expression into one of neutral command. Walk as if you own the ground beneath your feet. Even if your internal world is in flames, you do not let them see you sweat. This is not about faking it till you make it. This is framing. You are framing reality for the outside world. You are broadcasting a signal. I am in control. My process is unassailable. You can join my orbit or be left behind, but you will not alter my trajectory. This implacable, glacier-like progression, slow, silent, crushing all frivolous obstacles in its path, is the essence of feared discipline. Phase 5. The standard of the absolute, raising the floor. Why do you fail? At the core, you fail because your standards are negotiable. They are suggestions, not laws. You have accepted a version of reality where "I tried" is an acceptable epitaph, where "almost" is a noble state, where comfort is the ultimate goal. Machiavelli studied the great empires. Rome did not fall because of a single, overwhelming external foe. It rotted from within. The discipline that built the legions and the aqueducts gave way to decadence. The marble floors were warmed by underfloor heating while the frontiers grew soft. Luxury bred weakness. Complacency assassinated vigilance. You live in the most luxurious, sedative age in human history. Every force in the commercial, social, and digital world is aligned toward one goal: making you soft, comfortable, distracted, and docile. Unlimited calories, unlimited entertainment, unlimited cheap dopamine, unlimited validation for minimal effort. To be disciplined today is not just a personal choice. It is an act of rebellion, a declaration of war on the entire ethos of comfortable decay. You must raise the floor of your personal standards to a level that seems insane to the average person. This is not about being extreme for show. It is about creating a buffer zone of excellence so wide that the inevitable dips and setback of life never drop you below what the world considers good. Why do you wake up at 4 a.m. when you could sleep till 7? Why do you verify every detail when good enough would pass? Why do you refuse the drink, the junk food, the lazy afternoon? The internal answer is simple, cold, and never voiced. Because I am not you. You do not say it. You live it. When you hold yourself to an absolute standard of execution, you become a walking indictment of the mediocrity around you. This is why your discipline will breed resentment. Your very existence challenges every excuse they have carefully constructed. If he can do it, with the same hours, the same challenges, why can't I? It is easier for them to label you obsessive, crazy, or unbalanced than to confront their own comfortable sloth. Let them. The Machiavellian strategist does not lower himself to be understood by the masses. He either forces the world to rise to his level, or he operates on a plane so far above it that their opinions become irrelevant static. This extends most critically to your time. Time is the only truly non-renewable resource. It is the currency of your life. Every minute wasted arguing with a fool on the internet, scrolling mindlessly, or worrying about uncontrollable events is a minute you have looted from your future empire. You must become a dragon, viciously guarding the hoard of your hours. Be inaccessible. Be brief. Be devastatingly direct. When people learn that your time is expensive and your attention is rare, they begin to treat both with reverence. Discipline creates scarcity. Scarcity creates value. By becoming so disciplined with your time that you seem almost mechanical, you elevate yourself out of the petty competitions of the average. The air is thin at the summit precisely because few have the discipline to endure the climb. But the view from there? It silences all doubt. Share this with one person who needs to hear this cold truth. Send it to the man who is asleep but deserves to be awake. Then come back. The deepest cut is next. Phase 6. The death of the old self. The funeral you must hold. This is the final, non-negotiable phase. The phase of cold-blooded execution. To become the man who commands fear through his discipline, you must personally put a bullet in the head of the man you used to be. Machiavelli stated, "There is no avoiding war. It can only be postponed to the advantage of others." Your war is not with the world. It is with your past self. That familiar, weak, sentimental, excuse-making identity is your most dangerous enemy. If you do not annihilate him, he will launch a guerrilla war against your future every single day. He will whisper from the shadows when you're tired. You've earned a break. He will console you after a failure. This just isn't for you. He will tempt you with nostalgia for a time when you were less, but comforted by the herd. You must be ruthless. This is a shedding of skin. It will be painful. It will leave you feeling raw, exposed, and unfamiliar to yourself. This is the process. You are not improving the old you. You are killing him. You are holding a funeral for the person who needed to be liked, who apologized for his ambition, who sought permission, who crumbled under stress, who traded long-term power for short-term pleasure. This death has collateral damage. You may lose friends, the ones who only loved your participation in their shared misery. You may strain family relationships. They may not recognize or approve of the cold, focused man you are becoming. You may lose a partner who signed up for the boy, not the king. Do not flinch. This is the tax. This is the price of sovereignty. Do not complain about the bill. Simply pay it. On the other side of this death is not an upgrade. It is a rebirth, a new entity, a version of you that is leaner, meaner in its focus, and faster in its execution. This version operates on a different operating system: logic over emotion, strategy over impulse, long-term dominion over short-term feeling. This new you sees the world not as a playground of feelings, but as a chessboard of cause and effect. And he is here to play to win. This new you will scare you. He should. Real power is always frightening at first. But this is not power over others. That is the path of the tyrant, and it is fragile. This is power over the universe that is yourself. This is majesty. When you walk into a room having conquered your own mind, you emit a different frequency. People unconsciously yield. They may not know why, but they sense a gravity that commands respect. You have the look, not of arrogance, but of a man who has stared into the abyss of his own potential and his own weakness and walked away unbroken. It is the look of a man who has won the only war that truly matters. As the Stoics understood, as Machiavelli codified, the man who conquers himself is greater than he who takes a city. What happens when you cross this line? When you commit, fully and without reservation, to this path of fearsome discipline, a profound alchemy occurs. The constant, low-grade anxiety that has been the background hum of your life evaporates. Why? Because anxiety is the tax on the gap between what you know you should be doing and what you are actually doing. When your actions are in ruthless alignment with your purpose, the gap closes. The anxiety has nothing to feed on. You have nothing to hide, least of all from yourself. You know who you are. You know your code. You know your capacity for work, for endurance, for pain. You stop fearing the future because you are too busy building it, brick by disciplined brick. You stop fearing other people because you know, with cold certainty, that they cannot outwork you, outprepare you, or outendure you. You stop fearing failure because failure is stripped of its emotional horror and becomes mere data, feedback for the next, more refined assault on your objectives. You become free, but it is a specific kind of freedom. It is not the warm, communal freedom of the festival. It is the cold, clear, solitary freedom of the peak. It is the freedom of the wolf on the hill, looking down at the sheep in the pen. The sheep are warm. They are safe. They are fed. They are never alone. But they are trapped. Their world is the fence. You are on the hill. You are exposed to the elements. You are hungry with a hunger they cannot comprehend, not for food, but for the hunt, for the test, for the raw edge of existence. You are alone, but you are free. Your world has no fences. This is the choice that lies before you today, at this very moment. It is a binary choice with no middle ground. Do you want the warmth of the herd? Or do you want the power, the solitude, and the fierce, untamed freedom of the hunt? You cannot have both. Machiavelli wrote The Prince in exile, stripped of position, tortured, cast out from the city he loved. In that cold darkness, without an audience, without hope of immediate gain, he penned one of the most clear-eyed manuals on power ever conceived. He didn't need applause. He needed the truth. And he found it in the furnace of his own disciplined thought. Your discipline is your truth. It is the one fortress no one can ever besiege successfully. They can take your money. They can fire you. They can slander your name. But they cannot take your ability to wake up early, to work while they sleep, to endure pain they cannot fathom, to keep going when every fiber screams to quit. They cannot confiscate your will. That is your throne, carved not from gold, but from daily, silent acts of self-conquest. The world is getting softer. It is getting louder, more distracted, more addicted to stimulation and validation. This is not your obstacle. This is your overwhelming advantage. While the masses get weaker, you will get harder. While they are mesmerized by digital bread and circuses, your focus will become laser-like. While they seek the padded cell of constant comfort, you will seek out the sharpening stone of hardship. You will scare them, not by intention, but by consequence. You will become a living mirror, reflecting back every ounce of potential they squandered, every excuse they embraced, every hard path they avoided. Your existence will be a silent question they are afraid to answer. Let them stare. Let them whisper. Let them fear you. You have work to do. The path is cold. It is steep. It is strewn with the bones of those who started but lacked the ruthlessness to finish. You will walk it alone. But you are ready. The mere fact that you have read this far, that these words have found resonance in the deep, quiet part of you that knows the truth, marks you as part of the 0.01%. You are the outlier, the potential sovereign. Now prove it. The old you is dead. The time for mourning is over. The time for building has begun. If you have the will to see this through, to arm your mind with the tools they fear to teach, then you know what you must do. Subscribe to this channel. Turn on notifications. This is not the end of your education. It is the very beginning. We are just getting started. The depth of strategy, the psychology of power, the art of war for the modern man. This is our domain. Join the ranks. Your future self, the one you haven't met yet, is waiting. Comment, I choose the cold path below. Let it be your oath, cast into the digital void. Then go, build your throne.